The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. It is Wednesday, and we have a few folks in the studio with us this morning, but we're going to start off with the regular Blind United crew. We got Miss Carol with us this morning. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning, everyone.
And then we have Pedro as well.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing?
And we also have a few guests in the studio with us. We have Miss Deborah Erickson from one of our interest groups, the Blind Kitchen. Good morning, Deborah.
Good morning, Ed, and good morning, everyone.
And then we have, okay, Sugar's still not connected, so I don't know what we're going to do about her, but we have her counterpart, Mr. Larry Gatsman. Good morning, Larry.
Hey, good morning, Ed. Thanks for being there, and I'm looking forward to this.
Okay, so anyway, let me get started about what our interest groups are for today. So today we actually have 3 interest groups jumping off today. So starting at 2 p.m. Pacific time, we have our guest, Deborah Erickson, and the Blind Kitchen. And she's here today to talk about that part of what we got going on. So and then her and Larry. But at 5 p.m. Pacific time, we have AI for beginners, and that'll be a little tag team, with folks from the Blind United community, Blind United crew, as we call them, right? And we'll help people out with, beginning AI stuff. And then immediately after that, we have Pedro, and he will be doing his more advanced tech group. So that will come in at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So anyway, we got a full day ahead of us today. So anyway, let me get started with Deborah. Welcome again. I've told you you're always welcome to come on and talk about what you got going on in your group today. So you want to give a brief rundown of what you got going on today?
I will. We're very excited to do this monthly discussion group, and we connected with the American Council of the Blind, the Diabetics in Action group. And because the last time when I finish my discussion groups each month, I say, what do you want to talk about? And people wanted to talk about diabetes and cooking and eating well and healthy. And so I reached out to them, and I think it's going to be a really good collaboration.
Right. Okay. Well, and again, remember, folks, that is going to be at 2 p.m. Pacific time on our Zoom group, as well as, if you're on the mailing list, you already got the email, you already got the link. If you are listening in and you want to be part of that, info@blindunited.org, and I'll get you on the list and make sure you get a link so you can attend that group today as well. So, Larry, you want to tell us a little bit about the diabetes thing you guys got going on with ACB?
Sure. It started in 2005, and so we've been together now in various forms because not everybody's been there since 2005, but probably about 18, 19 years, and we are a group of blind people who have diabetes or have friends who have diabetes. And so we're we've been together. We have a website. It's ACBDA at ACBDA.org. So ACBDA.org. And there is a $10 fee for membership. And with that, you get all kinds of information that comes down like on mailing lists like what you have as well. And we have lots of podcasts that we have done at our conventions and or monthly meetings. And so those go back to probably 2018, 2019. So we're there as a resource, and we're there to help people because we all started basically in the same way. We found out we were diabetic, or we were born shortly after that diabetes came along. So however it happened, we're there to help. We're there to help with CGMs, with insulin pumps, with other things about diabetes when you're brand new and you don't know anything and you need to know it quickly. We're not medical professionals, obviously, but we do have experience, most of us, in most of the diabetic-related things that go on. So, as I said, we're there as a resource, and we're there to help. And if we can, we will. And that's, in a quick nutshell, what we're all about.
Well, it sounds like you guys are covering the diabetes section part of it. I mean, Blind United is, in essence, is a resource as well. I mean, we do coffee time. We actually created coffee time as a way to promote, the interest groups that we have going on every day. But again, our resources go anywhere from, you heard, AI, the advanced technology. We have support groups. Man, we got 20 some odd groups that we do throughout the course of the month. So anyway, because I didn't want to get into what they were doing within the interest group today and spoil that, I gathered up some articles that gave us some statistics on diabetes. And then, so what we'll do, Larry and Deborah, and hopefully Sugar can find a way in, we'll play these articles and listen to what they have to say. And then we'll have a little time on the other end to talk about them. They're pretty lengthy articles, so it's going to be a little fast moving today, but a lot of information to share. So Pedro, my brother, you ready with the first one?
Today on Coffee Time, the diabetes epidemic, understanding the rising numbers and what it means for public health. Diabetes has become one of the most pressing public health concerns in the United States, affecting millions of people and straining healthcare systems. With the number of cases climbing year after year, understanding the scope of this epidemic is crucial for prevention, management, and long-term care. Today, we're taking a closer look at the latest statistics on diabetes, its impact on Americans, and the global implications of this growing health crisis. Diabetes in the United States, by the numbers. 1. Prevalence of diabetes in the U.S. As of 2021, approximately 38.4 million Americans, which accounts for 11.6% of the U.S. population, are living with diabetes. But that's only part of the story. Diagnosed cases. 29.7 million Americans have been officially diagnosed with diabetes. Undiagnosed cases. An estimated 8.7 million people are living with diabetes without even knowing it. This significant portion of undiagnosed individuals highlights the urgent need for better screening and early detection efforts. 2. Type 1 versus Type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes. Around 2 million Americans are living with Type 1 diabetes, including 304,000 children and adolescents. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease where the body attacks insulin-producing cells, requiring daily insulin management. Type 2 diabetes. The most common form, accounting for the vast majority of diabetes cases, is often linked to lifestyle factors such as diet, weight, and physical activity. While Type 2 diabetes was once considered rare in children, increasing rates of childhood obesity have led to a surge in pediatric cases. New diagnoses and alarming trends. 1. Rising incidence among adults and youth. In 2021, there were about 1.2 million new cases of diabetes diagnosed among U.S. adults aged 18 or older, which translates to 5.9 new cases per 1,000 people. Among young people, the numbers are equally concerning. Over 18,000 children are diagnosed with type 1 diabetes each year. Nearly 5,300 children are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes annually, a figure that continues to rise. 2. Prediabetes, the silent epidemic. Prediabetes, a condition where blood sugar levels are elevated but not high enough for a diabetes diagnosis, is affecting millions. 96 million American adults, about 38% of the U.S. adult population, have prediabetes. Without intervention, many of these individuals will develop type 2 diabetes within 5 years. This silent epidemic emphasizes the need for early lifestyle changes to prevent progression to full-blown diabetes. Trends over time, the growing diabetes crisis. Diabetes prevalence has been steadily increasing over the past 2 decades. In 2001 to 2004, about 10.3% of Americans had diabetes. By 2021, that number had climbed to 11.6%, reflecting both lifestyle changes and improved detection rates. The consistent rise in cases has made diabetes one of the most common chronic diseases in the United States, with far-reaching health and economic consequences. A global perspective, diabetes around the world. The diabetes epidemic isn't limited to the U.S., it's a global health crisis. As of 2021, approximately 537 million adults worldwide, 1 in 10 people, were living with diabetes. Projections suggest that by 2030, this number will rise to 643 million, and by 2045, it could reach 783 million. Rapid urbanization, sedentary lifestyles, and unhealthy diets are contributing to rising diabetes rates globally, particularly in developing countries. The impact of diabetes, why this matters. Diabetes affects nearly every organ system in the body and can lead to a range of severe complications if not properly managed, including heart disease and stroke, kidney failure, vision loss, nerve damage, increased risk of amputations. In addition to the health impact, diabetes carries a significant economic burden, costing the U.S. healthcare system billions of dollars annually in direct medical expenses and lost productivity. Prevention and early intervention, the key to fighting diabetes. 1. Regular screening and early detection. Individuals with risk factors like obesity, family history, or a sedentary lifestyle should undergo regular blood sugar testing. Early detection of prediabetes allows for interventions that can prevent the onset of type 2 diabetes. 2. Lifestyle modifications. Healthy diet. Focus on whole grains, lean proteins, fresh fruits, and vegetables while limiting processed foods and sugary beverages. Regular exercise. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity each week. Weight management. Even a modest weight loss of 5 to 7% can significantly reduce the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. 3. Public health initiatives. Community programs that promote healthy eating, physical activity, and wellness are essential for combating diabetes at a population level. Increased access to affordable healthcare and nutrition education can help close the gap in diabetes prevention and care. Final thoughts, addressing the diabetes epidemic together. Diabetes remains a growing challenge, but it's a fight we can tackle with collective action. Awareness, early detection, and lifestyle changes are crucial tools in reversing this epidemic. Whether you're living with diabetes, know someone who is, or simply want to take steps to reduce your risk, education is the first step toward better health outcomes. Now, we want to hear from you. Have you or someone you know been affected by diabetes? What do you think can be done to reduce the rising rates of diabetes in the U.S. and worldwide? How can communities work together to promote healthier lifestyles and prevent chronic diseases like diabetes? Let's start the conversation and raise awareness about this growing public health concern. Now, back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Well, there certainly was a lot of information. Man, I didn't realize that it was as much of as an epidemic as it is. I mean, it seemed like it's even more prevalent here than it is, in other places around the world. But even, as they say, 1 in 10, of the planet's population is still a big number. So, I mean, was you aware that the numbers were that large, Larry?
Yeah, because I've read lots of articles. I collect them purposely so that I can refresh my memory, because all memories aren't great. Mine's okay, but it still needs refreshing from time to time. And what I didn't know, and I think I asked this question to one of our groups not long ago, is how many people are running around with diabetes and don't know it? And we
That
got
part.
the answer as well. That's the scary part.
Yeah, I mean, there was about so many million that are
Yeah.
undiagnosed.
I didn't know. I mean, I was on my honeymoon in 2002, and my wife was a type 1 diabetic. She's passed on now, partially actually due to diabetes and other complications. But she actually said to me after we had dinner and we'd had a few drinks, she said, you ought to get yourself tested. I said, well, okay. And I was 199. Now, for those of you who don't know, that's elevated. You should be generally anywhere from 80 to about 110. So I said, okay, what do we do? Because obviously, if I wasn't diabetic, I was pre-diabetic. Turns out I was diabetic, but I didn't know it. I could have been diabetic for several years and not know it. And that's generally what happens. Usually it gets to be a doctor thing where they come in and test you. They do a blood test, and they find out that you're diabetic, and then you go from there.
Yeah, I mean, again, I had no clue that the numbers were that high. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people, especially since I've become part of the blind community, that deal with diabetes and stuff like that. So, but but again, I just didn't know the numbers were that high. I mean, I think there needs to be a lot more done, on the preventive side of this, awareness and stuff like that. So, I mean, Deborah, I mean, you might have to come up with as a chef, you might have to come up with a diabetic cookbook, sweetheart.
Oh, I think it's a great idea.
And there are diabetic cookbooks already out. There's lots of diabetic cookbooks out there, because those of us who are diabetic are asking questions, and then we get answers, and people put books out on it. So it's widely researched, but we're surprised that we don't know of more. Because obviously there has to be, with numbers that big, there got to be a lot of diabetics, many of whom are blind, who don't know or just aren't dealing with the fact that they are diabetic. And that's scary as well.
I just added Sugar too on stage.
Okay. Good morning, Sugar.
She's still muted.
Let me make sure her device is connected. Let me make sure to unmute her.
Okay. Thank you, Pedro. Yeah, I'm down here in the comments. Brother George, another one of our Blind United family members, says good morning. He's always got jokes. Wednesday being hump day, he always says, hump the ones you love.
Almost sounds like a song I remember
Yeah,
singing.
can you say that on the radio? I don't know.
A different word, but yeah, it was on radio for a long time.
Yeah. George he's a character. So, but he's one of our Blind United family members and board member as well. He does a couple of interest groups as well for us. So, you got Sugar? Is she's in yet, or
she's on stage? She's unmuted, but the computer is not picking up the media, so she might need to let her browser access to the mics.
Yep.
Okay. Well, again, I mean, at least she can hear what we're talking about now. So, but yeah, no, again, and another reason I did these the stats the way I did them on this, Larry was and Deborah, is because we do also invite a lot of people that are not part of the blind community, to come in and hear different things we're talking about. We get a lot of people coming in, that maybe in that early stage where they haven't done any, they may not know they get diabetic yet or whatever, or, at the same time, we're trying to create that awareness, early prevention, get yourself checked out before it leads to something, more per se, tragic, so.
Yeah. The other thing that with diabetes, what I heard from that article, I'm certainly not an expert at all on it, but they talked about avoiding processed foods, avoiding carbohydrates, and focusing on fruits and vegetables and whole grains. And a lot of people don't. That means a lot of cooking at home, probably. Skip, no more drive-throughs.
It does.
Yeah, so you've got to learn how to prepare a lot of your own food. And if you don't know how to cook and cut safely and heat food safely because due to vision loss, that's going to be a real impediment to making that your diet a healthier one. So it's not only eating the right foods, but it's having the right tools and information to be able to put them together so that you can eat healthier.
It also means you have to have or learn or gain knowledge about what are processed foods. What kinds of foods in my house do I have that maybe I should avoid that I didn't avoid in the past, whether it be with sodium or something, that you get that's frozen in the market. Because some of that stuff, quite a bit of that stuff is going to be a problem for you, and you need to find other healthy cooking alternatives. So it does demand that you have or gain some form of knowledge about cooking, what to cook, what carbs you need to stay away from. And it's a big process, but it's something that you're going to have to learn to do as a diabetic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's about that time, Ed. I'm going to cut to a quick commercial break, and I'm going to see if I'm able to, or what you thinking?
Well, I was just in the interest of time. You can go ahead and do just one instead of two, and then we'll jump right into the next article.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
All right. So anyway, we're going to move into the next article now. I mean, so these other two articles are kind of things that are, can happen from your, having diabetes. So, and right quick, Katie Taylor says we had to teach our kids how to eat healthy. So I just want to make sure that, again, this is, everything that we're doing this morning, I've noticed in the articles when I was doing the research, a lot of it has to do with, healthy diets and, all that kind of stuff. So my brother Pedro, play the second article, if you would.
Today on Coffee Time, the hidden connection, how diabetes drives kidney failure in the U.S. Diabetes is one of the most common chronic diseases in the United States, but what many people don't realize is how deeply it's linked to another life-threatening condition, kidney failure. Often flying under the radar, kidney disease is a silent but devastating complication of poorly managed diabetes, leading to thousands of new cases of end-stage kidney disease, ESKD, every year. Today, we're taking a closer look at how diabetes contributes to kidney failure, who's most at risk, and what steps can be taken to prevent this severe outcome. Diabetes and kidney failure, a growing crisis. 1. The alarming statistics. Diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure in the United States, accounting for nearly half of all new cases of end-stage kidney disease, ESKD. New ESKD cases, 2019. 61,522 new cases of kidney failure were attributed to diabetes, representing 46.8% of all new ESKD cases that year. Total living with ESKD from diabetes, 2019. About 307,385 Americans were living with diabetes-related kidney failure, making up 39.2% of all ESKD patients. These numbers highlight just how closely linked these two conditions are and why it's so important to manage diabetes effectively. What is end-stage kidney disease, ESKD? End-stage kidney disease occurs when the kidneys lose about 90% of their ability to function. At this point, they can no longer effectively filter waste and excess fluids from the blood, leading to life-threatening complications. People with ESKD require either dialysis, a process where a machine filters waste and toxins from the blood; kidney transplant, a surgical procedure to replace the failing kidney with a healthy donor organ. Without one of these treatments, ESKD is fatal. Treatment options: dialysis versus kidney transplant. 1. Dialysis, the lifeline for many. For most people with ESKD, dialysis becomes a crucial part of life. In 2018, over 554,000 Americans were receiving dialysis treatments. Dialysis typically requires multiple sessions each week, with each session lasting 3 to 5 hours. While it's life-sustaining, dialysis comes with challenges, including fatigue, dietary restrictions, and the risk of infections. 2. Kidney transplant, the gold standard. For eligible patients, a kidney transplant offers a better quality of life and improved survival rates compared to long-term dialysis. As of 2018, around 229,887 Americans were living with a functioning kidney transplant. However, the demand for donor kidneys far exceeds the supply, leading to long waitlists. Transplant recipients also need to take lifelong medications to prevent organ rejection. Who's most at risk? Disparities in kidney disease. 1. Racial and ethnic disparities. Kidney disease doesn't affect all groups equally. Certain communities face a much higher risk of developing ESKD, often due to a combination of genetic, socioeconomic, and healthcare access factors. Black Americans are 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure compared to white Americans. Hispanic/Latino Americans, Native Americans, and Asian Americans also face elevated risks. These disparities underscore the importance of improving access to preventive care and early intervention in these communities. The silent nature of kidney disease, why early detection matters. One of the most dangerous aspects of chronic kidney disease, CKD, is that it often progresses silently. Many people are unaware they even have kidney issues until the disease has reached an advanced stage. It's estimated that 9 out of 10 people with CKD don't know they have it. Regular screening is crucial for people with diabetes, as early detection can slow or even prevent progression to ESKD. Simple tests, like blood tests to check kidney function, creatinine levels, and urine tests to detect protein, can help catch kidney disease early. How does diabetes damage the kidneys? Diabetes affects the kidneys by damaging the tiny blood vessels, glomeruli, that filter waste from the blood. Over time, high blood sugar levels cause these vessels to become leaky and less efficient, leading to protein leakage into the urine, a condition called proteinuria. Scarring of kidney tissue, reducing the organ's ability to filter blood. High blood pressure, which further damages kidney function. This process can take years, but is often accelerated when diabetes isn't well managed. Prevention and management, protecting your kidneys. 1. Control blood sugar levels. Keeping blood glucose within a healthy range is the most important step in preventing diabetes-related kidney damage. Work with healthcare providers to create an individualized diabetes management plan. 2. Manage blood pressure. High blood pressure is both a cause and a consequence of kidney disease. Target blood pressure for people with diabetes is often below 130 over 80 mmHg. 3. Medications that protect the kidneys. Certain medications, like ACE inhibitors or ARBs, can help protect kidney function in people with diabetes. Newer drugs, like SGLT2 inhibitors, have also shown promise in reducing the risk of kidney disease progression. 4. regular screening and monitoring. Annual screenings for kidney function are essential for people with diabetes. Early detection allows for lifestyle changes and treatments that can delay or prevent kidney failure. 5. Healthy lifestyle choices. Eating a balanced diet low in sodium and processed foods. Engaging in regular physical activity, at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. Maintaining a healthy weight to reduce strain on the kidneys. The bigger picture, addressing the diabetes and kidney disease epidemic. The strong link between diabetes and kidney failure highlights the need for public health initiatives that promote diabetes prevention and early detection, increased awareness about the risks of kidney disease among people with diabetes, expanded access to healthcare for underserved communities disproportionately affected by these conditions. Final thoughts, taking action before it's too late. Kidney failure is a devastating but often preventable complication of diabetes. With better awareness, early intervention, and equitable access to care, thousands of cases of ESKD could be avoided each year. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you or someone you know have experience managing diabetes and kidney disease? What can be done to improve early detection and access to treatment for at-risk populations? How can we work together to raise awareness about the link between diabetes and kidney failure? Let's open the conversation and share stories that could help others on their health journey. Now, back to the coffee time crew for their thoughts.
Well, again, man, a lot of information out there. I did this article basically because I know that a lot of people that are diabetic, as the article says, almost 50% of people dealing with the new cases of kidney failure come from folks with diabetes. So, again, as the article says, a healthy diet, monitoring your health, all of these other various things, is important to stay on top of your health, to try to combat some of this stuff so it doesn't happen to you. Nobody wants to deal with dialysis. What the article didn't say, other than the fact that there's not enough kidneys to go around. Most people that end up in kidney failure end up on dialysis, depending on your blood type, could be up to 7, 8, 10 years before you get to the top of the list where you can get a kidney. And it also depends on where you're, what clinic you're signing up to get your kidney. So, I don't know, Larry, you're more of the expert on this. You got anything else you want to add to that?
I know it's true. My wife was a type 1 diabetic, and she went through dialysis for the last 3.5 years of her life, and never was not able to get a kidney or a pancreas because they felt that she was too brittle as a diabetic, and she died at 54. Now that's 20 years longer than they thought she might live.
Right.
The doctor said, you'll be very fortunate if you live till past 30, and she lived till 54. Sugar, who is here, is now on her second kidney. I don't know how.
Yeah, I just added her
she will
too.
get into. Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah, hopefully, she's able to speak.
Are you in, Sugar? Can you talk to us? Maybe not.
If she were able to, she'd have been talking by now. But it's a scary situation. Even though I wasn't on dialysis, I dealt with it vicariously through my wife, and it's not pleasant, and it's a very scary situation. You don't want to get on dialysis if you can afford to. If you can afford not to, it's not good, and it's a special individual that actually has to go through that and do it and still keep a positive attitude, because it's not easy at all.
Right. It really takes a toll on your body.
It does.
Going through that and having your blood filtered out. Like I say, most folks I know, they do it 3 times a week. And like it says, anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a day, for 3 days a week, man. that's a lot of time out of your life. That's a lot of, stuff going on in in your body. So, I mean, Carol, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I didn't want to necessarily leave you out of the conversation. Do you know anything about diabetes? I don't think you're diabetic, are
Uh,
you?
no, I am not diabetic, but it is in my family. My grandfather had it, and he dealt with amputation, starting with a toe and all toes, half the foot, the whole foot, and end up losing both legs. My mother also had, she was a diabetic as well. She lost one of her eyes and she ended up on dialysis. Of course, neither one of them are still here, but I am not diabetic. And I do get checked regularly because it's hereditary. But the curious part that was basically talked about my grandfather, his issue was basically with his insulin, not managing everything. And my mother ended up, on dialysis basically because of her high blood pressure medicine. So a combination of all of that entails, and, I miss them both, but I definitely try to take care of myself to make sure that it doesn't happen to
Right,
me.
right, right. Okay. Well, I mean, again, I know Pedro's been trying to get Sugar in, and I'm going to give Sugar a E for effort at least. She's tried to get in and try to get in. Technology, sometimes it just throws a roadblock up on us. So, but Pedro, aren't you dealing with some form of diabetes, my brother?
No, sorry. Um, in my case, I don't have diabetes. I was in a threshold, you know. I know my girlfriend, she says, don't say pre-diabetic because there's not a pre-diabetic. She says you're on the threshold to be diabetic. And I was at that threshold, but the weird thing is that my sister, she has it, right? And we had similar eating habits, and she has, I think, type 2. She's been on it for years now, but I know it affected her. Even her iron levels had gone down due to all that,
Right,
and people get tired, especially if you don't have iron. You start feeling tired and stuff like that, you know.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I remember my stepfather. He was type 2
Hmm.
when he found out about it. And I mean, this man was scared, totally just terrified of needles.
Mm,
So he says, "No, what do I got to do, to turn this around? Because I'm not going to be able to do insulin on a daily basis or whatever, right?" And he changed. He turned his whole life around. He turned all his eating habits around. He turned all his exercises and all that stuff around, and he got himself to where he was good. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it can be done. So
yes, it can.
it definitely can be done. So well, we got one more article where we're going to talk about. So I'm going to let Pedro play one more commercial, and then we'll get into the last article, and we'll have a little time on the other end to talk about that before we close out.
You need assistance with iOS? Or are you curious what iOS is? Perhaps you're seeking tips and tricks on how to use JAWS on your Windows machine? Or maybe you would like to participate in our popular support group led by Dominic? Or maybe join us for movie nights on Friday, where we watch and discuss the movie of the night? For more information, please email us at info@blindunited.org. Once again, that's info@blindunited.org. You can also follow us on Facebook for real-time updates and community interactions. We look forward to connecting with you.
So, I mean, just a little commercial about some of the stuff we do over here, Larry. Again, all of those interest groups, Deborah does one for us once a month. Some of our interest groups are every week, like movie night. A lot of our interest groups are bi-weekly, so they're generally twice a month. And I mean, we're just out here trying to help community and, help them get involved and help them with whatever tech issues they may have. And the beauty of Blind United and what we offer everybody is totally free. So we allow everybody to come in. All you got to do is shoot an email to info@blindunited.org. We'll get you signed up on that email list, and you can come in and, like you say, pick up some tips and tricks with your JAWS or whatever the case may be. We just had our basic JAWS guy come in last night, and he's actually an instructor at the training center here in Los Angeles, Wayfinder DPI program, and he was teaching people how to write music using a screen reader. So a lot of great stuff going on in here. So anyway, I'm gonna move into this last one, and I guess this is the reason why ACB they have this organization that Larry and Sugar are part of. I know NFB also has an organization where they deal with diabetes and stuff like that, because diabetes also is a very large contributing factor to people becoming blind. So anyway, let's check this one out, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Today on Coffee Time, diabetes and vision loss, understanding diabetic retinopathy and how to protect your eyesight. Diabetes doesn't just affect your blood sugar levels, it can also take a toll on your vision. One of the most serious complications of diabetes is diabetic retinopathy, DR, a leading cause of blindness among working-age adults. This often overlooked condition can silently damage your eyes, leading to vision impairment or even complete vision loss if left untreated. Today, we're exploring the connection between diabetes and eye health, how diabetic retinopathy develops, and what steps you can take to protect your sight. The scope of the problem: how many people are affected? 1. In the United States. As of 2021, around 9.6 million Americans living with diabetes, or 26.4% of diabetics, were diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy. Approximately 1.84 million people, or 5.1%, had vision-threatening diabetic retinopathy, VDDR, a severe form that can lead to significant vision loss or blindness. 2. Globally. In 2020, about 1.07 million people worldwide were blind due to diabetic retinopathy. An additional 3.28 million people experience moderate to severe vision impairment as a result of the condition. These numbers highlight the importance of regular eye care for people living with diabetes. What is diabetic retinopathy? Diabetic retinopathy is an eye condition caused by prolonged high blood sugar levels that damage the blood vessels in the retina, the light-sensitive tissue at the back of the eye responsible for sending images to the brain. Over time, these weakened blood vessels can leak fluid or blood, causing vision problems. In more advanced stages, abnormal new blood vessels may grow, leading to severe complications and even blindness. The stages of diabetic retinopathy, from early signs to vision loss. Diabetic retinopathy progresses through several stages, each posing increasing risks to your vision. 1. Mild non-proliferative retinopathy. This is the earliest stage, marked by the appearance of tiny bulges in the blood vessels of the retina, microaneurysms. These weakened spots may leak small amounts of fluid into the retina. 2. Moderate non-proliferative retinopathy. As the disease advances, some retinal blood vessels become blocked. The retina's ability to receive oxygen is reduced, leading to further damage. 3. Severe non-proliferative retinopathy. More blood vessels become blocked, depriving large areas of the retina of their blood supply. The retina sends signals for new blood vessels to grow, but these new vessels are often abnormal and fragile. 4. Proliferative diabetic retinopathy, PDR. This is the most advanced stage. New, fragile blood vessels begin to grow along the surface of the retina and into the vitreous gel, the clear substance that fills the eye. These vessels can easily leak blood into the eye, leading to vision loss. Scar tissue from this process can also cause retinal detachment, which is a medical emergency that can result in permanent blindness. Other diabetes-related eye conditions. In addition to diabetic retinopathy, people with diabetes are at higher risk of developing other vision problems, including 1. Diabetic macular edema, DME. DME occurs when the macula, the part of the retina responsible for sharp, central vision, swells due to fluid leakage. This condition can lead to blurred vision and, if untreated, permanent vision loss. 2. Cataracts. People with diabetes are more likely to develop cataracts at a younger age. Cataracts cause the eye's lens to become cloudy, leading to blurry vision and difficulty seeing in low light. 3. Glaucoma. Diabetes doubles the risk of developing glaucoma, a group of eye diseases that damage the optic nerve. The most common type, open-angle glaucoma, often has no symptoms until vision loss occurs. What causes diabetic retinopathy? The root cause of diabetic retinopathy is chronically high blood sugar levels, which damage the tiny blood vessels in the retina. Over time, this leads to leaky blood vessels that allow fluid and blood to seep into the retina. Reduced blood flow due to blocked vessels, starving the retina of oxygen. Abnormal new blood vessel growth that can cause further damage and bleeding. Other factors that can increase the risk of developing diabetic retinopathy include high blood pressure, high cholesterol, long duration of diabetes, smoking, warning signs, what to watch for. One of the biggest challenges with diabetic retinopathy is that it often has no symptoms in its early stages. As the disease progresses, you may start to notice blurred or distorted vision, dark spots or floaters in your vision, difficulty seeing at night, colors appearing faded or washed out, sudden vision loss in severe cases. Because early diabetic retinopathy can go unnoticed, regular eye exams are essential for catching the disease before significant vision loss occurs. Preventing and managing diabetic retinopathy. The good news is that diabetic retinopathy is often preventable and manageable, especially when caught early. 1. Regular eye exams. People with diabetes should have a comprehensive dilated eye exam at least once a year. Early detection can help prevent vision loss and allow for timely treatment. 2. Control blood sugar levels. Keeping blood glucose levels within your target range is the most important step in preventing diabetic retinopathy. Studies show that good blood sugar control can reduce the risk of developing retinopathy by up to 76%. 3. Manage blood pressure and cholesterol. High blood pressure and high cholesterol can worsen diabetic retinopathy. Aim to keep blood pressure below 130/80 mmHg and cholesterol levels within a healthy range. 4. Quit smoking. Smoking increases the risk of diabetic complications, including retinopathy. Quitting can improve blood flow and help protect your vision. Treatment options. How diabetic retinopathy is treated. If diabetic retinopathy is detected, several treatments can help slow or stop the progression and preserve vision. 1. Anti-VEGF injections. These medications block a protein called vascular endothelial growth factor, VEGF, that causes abnormal blood vessels to grow. Regular injections into the eye can reduce swelling, stop bleeding, and slow disease progression. 2. Laser therapy, photocoagulation. A laser is used to seal leaking blood vessels or shrink abnormal ones. This treatment can help stabilize vision, but usually doesn't improve existing vision loss. 3. Vitrectomy. In advanced cases, surgery may be needed to remove blood from the vitreous gel and scar tissue pulling on the retina. This procedure can restore some vision and prevent further damage. 4. Corticosteroids. In some cases, steroid injections or implants can help reduce swelling in the retina, especially for diabetic macular edema. Living with diabetes, protecting your eyesight. Vision loss doesn't have to be an inevitable consequence of diabetes. By staying proactive and managing your health, you can greatly reduce your risk of diabetic retinopathy and other eye complications. Here's what you can do today. Schedule an annual eye exam if you haven't had one recently. Keep your blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol levels in check. Know the warning signs of diabetic retinopathy and seek medical attention if you notice changes in your vision. Final thoughts, your vision matters. Diabetic retinopathy is a serious condition, but with early detection, proper management, and regular eye care, vision loss can often be prevented. Your eyes are priceless. Don't wait until it's too late to protect them. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you or someone you know have experience with diabetic retinopathy? What tips or strategies have helped you maintain your eye health while managing diabetes? How can we raise more awareness about the importance of regular eye exams for people with diabetes? Let's open up the conversation and help more people take charge of their vision health. Now, back to the coffee time crew for their thoughts.
Well, again, a whole lot of information there. Before we get into other stuff, God First says her mother was on dialysis. She survived up to 10 years, but she did not have diabetes. So, again, dialysis, it takes a toll on the body. That's a long time to survive, going in 3 days a week, doing all that kind of stuff. So I got a question for you, Larry. Were you blind prior to knowing you had diabetes, or this is a side effect of your diabetes?
Oh, no. I was born blind. I have a twin brother. We're both still here. We both just turned 70. We were both 2.5 months premature. He was 1 pound, 8 ounces. I was 1 pound, 10 ounces. Well, my wife, when she was talking to her nieces, who were 4 and 5 at the time, now they're all married, said they were about the size of a macho burrito. We were about 13 inches long. And so we were born blind. We both have light perception, but we're now both diabetic. I was diagnosed in 2002, and he was diagnosed about 15 to 17 years later. And the doctors said the chances are generally pretty good that blind people who are, people who are twins, if one is diagnosed with diabetes, generally the other will also be diagnosed. And in our case, that happens to be the case. It's not always the case, but in our case, it was.
Right.
We're both type 2.
Okay. Well, so you're not doing insulin and none of that kind of stuff. You're controlling with your diet and stuff like that.
Yes, I am taking a basal insulin, about 10 units per day, to make sure my A1C is below 7 and that I am in time and range.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a preventative to make sure it's down below 7.
Well, again, and all of this information we're putting out here today, again, we got a lot of folks such as the young lady that just commented, blind, God First, that are sighted. So, again, we're trying to educate them as well, early detection. And you don't want to end up, number one, with diabetes. Number two, you certainly don't want to deal with, kidney failure because of diabetes. And even though it's doable, I wouldn't wish blindness on anybody, especially, dealing with diabetes. So
no,
it's a disease that can be controlled and if caught early enough, right? And, if you catch it early enough, as well, you can hopefully prevent some of these major side effects, So, I mean, I know later on today, Deborah and Miss Sugar, and I guess you're going to be there as well, Larry. They're going to be,
yeah.
They'll be talking more about, how to eat healthy and all of this kind of stuff, staying away from all of this processed food and Deborah always has a lot of tips and tricks for being in the kitchen, especially within the blind community, a lot of great knowledge as a chef. So we always appreciate her. She's actually become one of our more popular interest groups as well. So, uh, uh, yeah, but I'm trying to figure out, does anybody have anything else? We got about 4 minutes left. Does anybody want to kind of add anything in before we get out of here?
I would say that the most difficult thing for me, and it's different with everybody, I learned quickly to change my lifestyle in terms of what I ate in order to eat healthy. But I'm so busy. I'm busy 24/7. After my wife passed away, I got busy and I never stopped. But the harder thing for me to do is to do consistent exercise. And I know I need to do that, and I do some of it, but I don't do as much as I should do. But whatever they tell you to do, you've got to do it. You've got to get that mindset together to say, I will do everything I can to either not have diabetes, or if I've got it, to keep it controlled.
Right, right. I mean, I agree. I have not been diagnosed with diabetes. I mean, I have been diagnosed as being obese. So I guess I'm kind of on that threshold. But same as you, Larry, my wife passed away going on 10 years now. And I've gotten busy. I mean, once I started this nonprofit, I mean, I just became super busy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just hard to find time. So I literally have to, make myself get up. Okay, it's time to take a break. I got a walk. Luckily I live kind of like on a hill. So I'll walk down the hill and then I'll turn around and walk back up the hill. So I get, and it does help. It really does help. So, Deborah, you got anything you want to add before we get out, sweetheart? I guess maybe we lost.
Did she leave? What I would like to say is, now it's a lot of people that have the restaurants, and, although it's not a lot of great eating there, they're listing calories. What I'd like to see in the future is them to have alternative menus for diabetic individuals, for those who are not great at cooking and that are blind, to be able to go into a restaurant and sit down and order something that's prepared for them without sugar, or that cater to their specific needs. That'd be a great option. That way they can feel like they're able to go inside and sit down and eat, because diabetes runs in my family, although I don't have it. But they're catering and trying to keep us healthy. Why not make that an option so I can sit down at the table and order a cake that's cooked with Splenda or Equal, or so on and so forth. I'd like to see that for the future.
Sugar has resources on that she's bringing to this afternoon's meeting. Exactly. Okay. That topic. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay. I mean, I don't know that is necessarily an option in the majority of restaurants and eateries out there right now. But I mean, I think that would be a great option as well to have out there. So, again, I hope I didn't bore everybody with all these stats and all this other kind of stuff. I mean, I just want to try to make everybody informed and let them understand, this is not something to play with. This is something you need to stay on top of, I mean, I never thought that I would live to be this old, but here I am, and I think a lot of the damage that I've done in my life, I'm a fast food junkie. So it's still a problem for me, but I mean, I just had a surgery. I went in, they told me I was going to get 2 stents, and next thing I know, we put 6 of them in you. Wow, but again, I'm healthy, I'm good, I'm here. You got to stay on top of your health, everybody. So, Larry, Deborah, I look forward to the group at 2:00 and learning more about, eating healthy. I don't know how much attention I'm going to pay to it, but I'll definitely listen in. But Larry, I appreciate you joining my brother. And I know you guys are doing a lot of good work over at ACB and creating awareness within that organization, and whoever else wants to sign on and, get the education. I appreciate you for, making, like you said, the glucose monitors and all that stuff available, stuff like that. So, again, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge on this topic.
Thank you, Ed. Nice to be here. Glad to be here. Glad to help.
You're welcome back at any time, Larry. You know what I'm saying? We, again, we're trying to be that organization right there in the middle. You know what I'm saying? We don't take sides, and we just want to share information and have, let everybody, give everybody the best information we can so they can live their best life.
Excellent.
So on that note, before I leave, Tisha said good morning. So good morning, Tisha. She's one of our regular listeners. So again, good morning to you, Tisha. And then, Pedro, you good? You got anything you want to say on the way out, my brother?
No, I'm good. Just happy hump day.
Well, it is Wednesday, so Wednesday. Again, we will do this again tomorrow with a whole nother list of articles and a different topic. And as always, in closing, please like, share, subscribe, follow, comment, all that other kind of good stuff. Whatever platform you're listening to us on, please do whatever you can do on that platform. It really does help us get this out to everybody. And everybody have a great Wednesday, and we will see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.